Hi everyone, this is Nishal Jumudi. So welcome to the Good Morning Test which is being conducted by KingMakers ICE Academy. So now in this Good Morning Test, a set of MCQs exclusively based on current affairs will be discussed on a daily basis to enable the aspirants to do a quick revision of current affairs with much of ease. So now guys, the whole idea of this particular Good Morning Test is a set of questions. As I told you, exclusively based on current affairs will be discussed, and now a 360-degree coverage of that particular topic will also be discussed in the form of proper explanation. So now it will be very easy for the candidates or the aspirants to prepare your current affairs on a daily basis with much of ease. So about me, I'm an economics faculty specialized in handling sessions for various competitive examinations like UPSC, UGC, NET, bank exam, etc. About my awards and recognitions, guys. Recently, I have secured the National Award at the 9th National Indian Education Awards for my teaching excellence under civil service coaching. I have also secured the Nirbhaya Youth Award and Medal of Honor for my international achievements. I have also published 10 research papers in the field of economics in various reputed national and international journals with ISSMI's win numbers. I have also represented our country, India and Japan, for the International Exchange Program and Conference based on the theme economics. I have also recently published a paper in University of British Columbia, Canada for the economic conference based on the theme food studies in the year 2018. Apart from that, I have also received the Clever Invention Award from Unacademy, that is the online platform where I teach guys for my innovative methods in the field of teaching. Apart from that, I'm also a motivational speaker. I do go to schools, colleges and universities as chief guest to deliver such kind of talk to the youngsters. And I'm also having an organization called as Nirbhaya Institute for Human Development, wherein a lot of central and state government training programs for the youngsters is being conducted. So I'm an expertise exclusively in the field of economics, guys, and I'm having an experience of 5 years in the field of teaching and exclusively handling students based on UPSC category. So guys, it's time for us to start the Good Morning Test MCQs, and the very first question is based on the Indus River system. The question is, which of the following is or are the tributary or tributaries of Indus River? Option number 1 tells Ravi River, 2 tells Beast River, and 3 tells Gilgit River. So now out of these you have to identify the right answer. So option number A can tell maybe only one is right. It can either be only 1 and 2 could be right, and can either be in the sense that all the 3 options are right. And your answer is option number D, which means that all the 3 options regarding the tributaries of Indus River is perfectly right, guys. So if you see the Indus water system of rivers, it comprises of what? The main Indus and its major tributaries like the Kabul River, the Ravi River, the Beast River, the Koran River on the right bank, etc. And thus, in which direction it flows, I can tell you it flows in the northwest direction from its source. And thus the Gilgit, Gartang, Hansa, and they are among the other Himalayan tributaries of the Indus. So if you can see in the explanation, Ravi River, Beast River and Gilgit River, they all are a part of what, guys? They all are a part of the tributaries of the Indus River. That is why your answer is option number D, which means all the above. Okay, moving on to the second question, it is based on iron ore deposits. So now you have to consider the following statement with reference to that. Option 1 tells the iron ore deposits, they are found in sedimentary rocks. 2 tells Bailadila mine is the largest iron ore mine in India. Third one tells hematite and magnetite. They are the 2 most important iron ores in India. So now look at this question carefully. All the 3 statements given in the question is perfectly connected. More or less, there is a lot of connection between the questions, between the statements. If you see, mostly using a logic, we can tell that yes, the iron ore deposits, they could be found in the sedimentary rocks, right? And third one, that is hematite and magnetite. Mostly we all have heard about magnetite. And yes, guys, hematite also, it can be one of the most, 2 most important iron ores in India. And what about the second one? Second one, you may have a doubt. Is it Bailadila or some other mine? But in that situation, go to your options, guys. And in your options, you have option number A tells only 2 is right, B tells 2 and 3, and C tells 1, and D tells all the above. So now, if you're having a doubt in option number 2, you can eliminate that, which means that only 1 and 3 is right. So now in your option, if you see, there is no option called as 1 and 3. If you're eliminating 2, then option number A and B you can't go with. Whereas C tells only 1 is right. But you're very sure that even your third one is right. So in that case, it is very easy for you to identify the right answer. And the answer is option number D, which clearly means that all the above statements related to the iron ore deposits are perfectly right. Okay. And if you see, yes, these iron ore deposits, okay, they are found in the sedimentary rocks. And now they are formed from certain chemical reactions that consist of a combination of iron and oxygen in marine as well as fresh waters. And if you see, these iron ores. They're usually rich in what? Certain iron oxides. But at the same time, they also vary in color. You cannot find the iron ores in the similar color. They keep on varying. Sometimes you can see certain dark gray color, sometimes bright yellow, or sometimes a deep purple or to rusty red. So they keep varying, okay? And thus, if you see, the total recoverable reserves of iron ore in our country, India, is about 9,602 million tons, guys. And that consists of hematite, and around 3,408 million tons consists of magnetite. So in that case, your third statement is perfectly right. Your hematite and magnetite, they are the two most important iron ores in India. And now, what about the places, guys, which is in India, which consist of more number of such kind of producers of iron ore? If you see the states like Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Jharkhand, Odisha, Goa, Maharashtra, even the southern states like Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and even the northern state like Rajasthan, they are the principal Indian producers of iron ore. So now you can even have a look at this, guys. Sometimes you can consider the following statement as to these are out of these states. They can pick up 2-3 states and give you as the principal Indian producers of iron ore. So please look on to that point also, okay? And thus, if you see the Bailadila mine, they are the largest iron ore mine, I can tell you, in our country, India. But another important point is that in spite of being the largest, this particular mine, it is also what? The largest mechanized mine in the entire Asia, okay? And thus, as you saw in the question, hematite and magnetite, they are the two most important iron ores in India. I hope this question is very clear to you people. Now, moving on to the third question is regarding National Disaster Response Force. Now, you have to consider the following statement with regard to that. Option number 1 tells it comes under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Second one tells it is an equipped and trained to respond natural and man-made disasters, including your chemical, biological, radiological and nuclear emergencies. So now look at the keyword of the question. The keyword of the question is what, guys? Here, the keyword talks about National Disaster Response Force. It is not about National Disaster Management or something, right? So now, do you think in that case they will come under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change or some other ministry? Think and say. That is a keyword. And yeah, of course, the second one, more or less, it is connected, because when it is a National Disaster Response Force, automatically that force will be trained to respond to both natural as well as man-made disasters. And that is, in that case, I can tell you, yeah, the second statement makes some sense. But what about the first one? Do you think it is right? Does it comes under the Ministry of Environment or some other ministry? So now the answer is option number 2, which means that only the second one is right, whereas the first one is wrong. Why? Because your National Disaster Response Force, they do not come under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Rather, they are managed, or it works under which ministry? Ministry of Home Affairs. Okay, you can just note it down, guys. That is why the first statement was wrong. The key word was Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. That made it wrong. So thus I can tell a little about your National Disaster Response Force. If you see this particular NDRF, what is that? It is nothing but a force which consists of 12 battalions and around more than 1,149 persons, guys. And all these people, they dedicated for what? For rescuing and protecting the human lives and property during any sort of natural as well as human-made disasters. The main aim of the National Disaster Response Force is to protect the human lives and property during such kind of disasters. Now I can tell you, guys, accordingly in the year 2006, this NDRF, that was constituted with 8 battalions. But at present, what is the number? Though in the year 2006 it was started with only 8 battalions, at currently I can tell you this National Disaster Response Force, it consists of around 12 battalions. And now out of this 12, 3 are from where? 3 from the BSF and CRPF. Whereas the 2 each are from your CISF, ITBP and SSB. And thus I can tell you each of these battalions, okay, they have 18 self-contained specialist search and rescue teams of 45 personnel from different categories like engineers, technicians, electricians, dog squads, medicals, paramedics, etc. These are the different categories or areas where they are put up, okay. And thus I can tell you that, guys, your National Disaster Response Force is nothing but it is actually for rescuing and protecting the human lives from any and property from any sort of disasters, either natural or man-made. Okay. Now, moving on to the next question, it is with reference to NITI Aayog. So now this is an economy-related current affairs question. You have to consider the following statement. A very simple question, right? So option number 1 tells NITI Aayog is a statutory body. Second tells it is headed by Prime Minister. And third tells it aims to foster cooperative federalism through structured support initiatives and mechanisms with the state on a continuous basis. So now which one do you think is the right answer, guys? Option A tells 1 and 2, B 2 and 3, C 2 and D tells all the above is right. So have a look at the question. Do you think your NITI Aayog is a statutory body? Because we all know that it has replaced the Planning Commission and it is a think tank organization. So when NITI Aayog is a think tank organization, do you think it can be a statutory body? That is a key word. And yes, of course, NITI Aayog, Prime Minister has a major role. So now it is headed by Prime Minister. And what is the aim? The aim is to foster cooperative federalism, a federal system consisting of local, state and center together, right? So in that case, yeah, the third one could be right. And the answer is option number B, which clearly states that only the second and third statement is right, whereas the first one is wrong. Why? The first one is wrong is because of the key word statutory body. Your NITI Aayog is not a statutory body. Very clear? And if you see, guys, what is that? As I told you initially, it is the premier policy think tank of the Government of India. And thus, it was brought by the resolution of the Government of India. And the main aim why NITI Aayog was put forward is they want to replace the Planning Commission. Because we all know that when there was Planning Commission, every now and then, for 5 years, a plan was constituted from the center, right? And that's what the state had to follow. But in case of NITI Aayog, that is not the case. They make sure that there is something called as decentralized planning. They wanted to make sure that apart from the center, the state is also given equal importance, in the policies and planning accordingly. So to have a, very decentralized approach. That is why they came with NITI Aayog. That is the whole point of replacing NITI Aayog as a Planning Commission to NITI Aayog as a whole. Okay, that's why they really had to replace the Planning Commission with NITI Aayog. And thus, in NITI Aayog, the members are, guys, the chairperson. It is none other than the Prime Minister. He is the one who heads it. And that's what you saw in the question also, right? Then the other members include the vice chairperson, and that should be appointed by the Prime Minister. They also consist of the governing councils, which consist of the chief ministers of all the respective states, and also the governors of union territories. Both the state as well as the center, they are given equal importance. They want to make sure that all these states are equally or actively participating in all the policies and program. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that there is decentralized, approach. That is the whole aim or importance of NITI Aayog. And thus, the most important objective of NITI Aayog is nothing but to foster what? A kind of cooperative federalism. And at the same time, they want to make sure that, on areas which are specifically referred to it, that the interest of national securities, all these things are incorporated in economic strategy and policy. Okay. Now, moving on to the next one. It is based on Economic and Social Council. You have to consider the following statement. Option 1 tells, it is not a part of United Nations organ. Second one, it aims to promoting higher standards of living, full employment and economic and social progress. So, which will be the right answers, guys? Option A tells only 1, B 2, C both are right and D tells neither 1 or 2. But the answer is option number 2, which means that only the second one is right, whereas first one is wrong. Why? Because of the key word, it is said that the Economic and Social Council, they are not a part of United Nations organ. That is why the first one is wrong, guys. If you see, the Economic and Social Council, they are one of the principal organs of your United Nations that was established in the UN Charter way back in the year 1945. So now in your question, guys, in the first statement, what was the key word? The key word was not. Just because of that not only, the first one is wrong. Actually, your Economic and Social Council, one of the principal, or they are one of the principal part of your United Nations organ. Okay. And thus I can tell you that it consists of how many members? 54 members of the UN who are elected by the General Assembly. And thus, this particular ECOSOC, they are responsible under the General Assembly for coordinating certain economic, social and other related works, guys, of the 14 United Nations specialized agencies, functional commissions and also 5 regional commissions. This is really the responsibility of your Economic and Social Council. Now, what are the functions of this particular council? Yeah, of course, it talks about promoting higher standards of living. Then they want to make sure that there is full employment in the economy and also there is a progress with reference to economic and social perspective. At the same time, another important function of your Economic and Social Council is that they want to facilitate international cultural and educational cooperation. At the same time, identifying important solutions or remedies to certain international economic, social and health problems. That is also another important function of your Economic and Social Council. Finally, it also focuses on encouraging universal respect for human rights as well as fundamental freedoms. So these are the basic functions of your Economic and Social Council. I hope it is very clear. Now, moving on to the 6th question is, It is based on Financial Stability and Development Council. You have to consider the following statement. Option number 1 tells it is not a statutory body. Look at the keyword. They say it is not a statutory body. So I have told you the keyword. Second one, the finance minister is the chairperson of the council. So now since it is Financial Stability and Development Council, yeah, chances of finance minister being the chairperson is more. But doesn't mean that it should be. Think and give the right answer, guys. And third one tells it is an autonomous body dealing with macro-prudential and financial regulatories in the entire financial sector of India. So which one do you think is the right answer, guys? You have to select from the given code. Option A tells only 1, B 2 and 3, C tells 1 and 3, and D tells all the above. And the answer is all the above, which clearly means that all the above statements are perfectly right, guys. Yes, your Financial Stability and Development Councils, they are not at all a statutory body. And yes, the finance minister is the chairperson of this particular council, and they are an autonomous body which deals with such kind of macro-prudential and financial regulations for the entire financial sector of our country, India. And now if you see this apex level of FSDC, they are not a statutory body as we saw in the question, and they are an apex level body constituted by whom? By our Government of India. And now, it must be noted that no funds are separately allocated, guys, to this particular financial council for undertaking the activities. That is also another important point that you have to note with reference to what? With reference to Financial Stability and Development Council. Remaining other points we've discussed, guys. Now, moving on to the next one is, this is an important question even for your current prelims 2019 examination also. You got a question based on Ramsar Convention. It is having a connection to that. Now, if a wetland of international importance is brought under the record called as Montreux record, what does it imply? Option A is changes in ecological character which have occurred, are occurring or are likely to occur in the wetland as a result of what? Human interference. So the keyword is human interference. Second one, the country in which the wetland is located should enact a law in order to prohibit any sort of human activity, I can tell you, within 5 kilometers from the edge of the wetland. Third one, the survival of wetland depends on what? The cultural practices and traditions of certain communities who are living in the vicinity, and therefore the cultural diversity therein should not be destroyed. And option B details this particular thing. It is given the status of the World Heritage Site. So now out of these, which one do you think is the right answers? And the answer is option number A, which means that the first one. The implication of your, implication of when a wetland of international importance is being brought under the record called as Montreux record is that when there are certain changes in the ecological character or it is occurring or likely to occur, that will be absolutely because of what? Because of the human interference. Take care. And thus I can tell you the Montreux record. What is that? It is nothing but a register of wetland sites which are coming under the list of wetlands of international importance, where certain changes in the ecological characters have occurred or it is likely to occur, and exclusively because of the human interference. And now this Montreux record, guys, it is maintained as what? As a part of your Ramsar list. That is your Ramsar Convention. You had a question for the UPSC Prelims 2019 based on this, right? So you can even focus on this, guys. This is also an important topic. Now, moving on to the next one is Right to Education Act of 2009. With reference to that, you have to consider the following statement. So which of the following statements are correct with reference to RT Act of 2009? Option number 1 tells every child in the age group of 16 to 14 has a right to free and compulsory education in the neighborhood school. Second one, the Act provides the selection of properly skilled teachers. Norms and values of teacher qualification and training are plainly laid out in the Act. So which one do you think are the right statements with reference to the RT Act of 2009? And the answer is option number C, which means that both these statements are perfectly right. If you see, every child who are in the age group of 16 to 14, they have the right to what? Free and compulsory education in a neighborhood school. That is as per the law, guys, till they complete what? The elementary education. So in order to make the primary elementary education compulsory, this particular provision is being given. Now, as per this Right to Education Act of 2009, I can tell you that it prohibits what? Donation, that is it prevents donation, capitation fee, screening, test or interview for child of parents, then some sort of physical punishment or mental harassments, some sort of private tuition that is being taken by the teachers and running schools or recognition. All these things are being prohibited as per the Right to Education Act of 2009. Very fine. Now, as per this act, what does it do? It provides a selection of properly skilled teachers At the same time, certain rules or regulations or norms and values of teacher qualification and training, they are also properly structured or laid out in this particular act. Accordingly, they'll be able to perform in a better way. And thus, I can tell you this act, again, it prohibits or prevents what? The operation of teachers for certain non-educational effort other than the decennial sample, election to local authority, etc. And also this particular act, the Right to Education Act, is very, very particular. It specifies the duties and responsibilities of the suitable governments, then the neighborhood authority, with reference to what, guys? With reference to providing free and necessary schooling. Because that is very important, guys. Because as per this act, it prohibits collecting donations or capitation fee and all. So now the act clearly states that the duties and responsibilities of the suitable governments with reference to making sure that the neighboring authority in providing fee and necessary schooling and all these things are taken with utmost care. Now, moving on to the next question is, with reference to the Aadhaar Act of 2016, you have to consider the following statement. Option number 1 tells, private agencies may use Aadhaar for verifying the identity of a person for any purpose. Second one tells, Aadhaar is a proof of citizenship. Third tells, an individual who has resided in India for 182 days or more in the immediate preceding year is eligible for what? For the enrollment for Aadhaar. Now think and give the right answer. So now out of your options, it is said 1 and 3, B tells 2, C tells 3, and D tells 1, 2 and 3. So which one do you think is the right answer? And the answer is option number A. It's very evident, right? Only 1 and 3 statements are right, whereas the second one is wrong, guys. Second one tells that Aadhaar is a proof of citizenship. So it's very clearly understood. It's easy to identify or do the elimination. So now in this particular question called as Aadhaar Act of 2016, the second statement called as Aadhaar is a proof of citizenship. We know it would be wrong. It is a proof of identity, guys. It cannot be a proof of citizenship, right? So now in that case, it is very easy for you to do the elimination. So look at the option which does not have option number 2. If you see in the given options, definitely the answer cannot be B, because it tells it is only 2. And we know that 2 is wrong. Again, option number C tells only 3. So now that could be there. And D also consists of 2, which means that D is also wrong. So out of 1 and 3, you have to make a choice. And now again, if you get back to the question, it is understood that option number 1, it talks about the private agencies. They may also use Aadhaar for verifying the identity of a person for any purpose. That is even done practically, right? So in that case, yeah, 1 is also logically right. So thus the answer will be option number what? A. That is 1 and 3. Very clear. And I can tell you that every resident, okay, they shall be entitled to obtain an Aadhaar number. And now a resident who is a person who has resided in India for more than 182 days in the 1 year preceding the date of application of enrollment of Aadhaar. So as per that, if they are kind of okay with that, means then they'll be getting the Aadhaar number. Now, to obtain Aadhaar number, we all know, all of us have Aadhaar number, right? What we should do, an individual has to submit a lot of documents. And after that, the Unique Identification Authority, that is UID, may specify certain of the biometric and number of information to be collected by regulations to issue your Aadhaar card. So regarding Aadhaar, everybody is very familiar to it. So not much of explanation I'm going with that, guys. And thus, I can tell you that this Aadhaar number, whatever is given to you, they cannot be a proof of citizenship or domicile. Rather, it can be used as an identity, guys. That's it. But not a proof of citizenship. Now, the last question of today's session is with reference to Bimal Jalan panel. This is a very, very important topic, guys. It was in news also with reference to RBI. So already I've given a clue to this. So it will be easy for you to give the right answer for this question. So now, the Bimal Jalan panel recently in news is associated with which one of the following? Option A tells foreign exchange reserve, B tells effect of oil price on the Indian economy, C tells SEZ special economic zones, and D tells economic capital framework. So now your Bimal Jalan panel, as I told you, it is having a connection to RBI out of the following options. Which of the options is having a connection to RBI, guys? Is it option number A, B, C or D? Mostly you may say, okay, option number A or D can come. In that, option number D is having much, chances, right? And the answer is option number D. That is the Bimal Jalan panel. It is associated with none other than the economic capital framework. That is your ECF. That was in news also, right? So thus I can tell you that Bimal Jalan panel, they had to submit a report on economic capital framework by June 2019. And now, what was this panel all about, guys? It is an expert panel on the RBI's economic capital framework, guys. And why did they formed it? They literally introduced or formed it so that they'll be able to address certain issues with reference to the Reserve Bank of India's reserve. This is central bank of our country. So to discuss or to address certain issues with reference to the RBI's reserve only, this particular expert panel called as Bimal Jalan panel was put forward, and in that only the economic capital framework concept was also brought in. Now, in this panel, it is said that it will suggest how the central bank, that is RBI, should handle all its reserve, that is its reserve, and whether it can transfer its surplus to the government. That is a question. Actually, there was an issue as to whether the RBI should transfer the surplus to the government like that. So now, when this panel was formulated, it said that they will suggest how the central bank, it should handle all the reserve that is having, and whether it can transfer the surplus amount that is having to the government, so that they'll be able to utilize that financing all the public expenditure activity. That is the whole idea, okay? And thus, this Bimal Jalan panel, they will decide whether RBI is holding the provisions, reserves and buffers and surplus of the required levels. If so, then they can transfer to the government. That was the discussion that was going on, okay? So that is all about your Bimal Jalan panel. So we have done with the set of 10 questions for today's good morning test, and I hope all these 10 questions you have understood in a detailed manner. So thank you so much, students, and please do like, subscribe and follow me for more such lectures on KingMakers IAS Academy online platform. So I'll be coming up with more such good morning tests on a daily basis, which will enable you to do a quick revision of all what you've studied exclusively based on current affairs. Thank you.